Yeah. There we go. Here we go. All my folks out there. So we talk weeklies after the talk on WPP MLP Philadelphia 106.5 FM. We talk weeklies after the talk with your boy Charles Gregory and the beautiful
Lauren Sizzle, can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound good. There we go. Want to give me another?
Oh,
There we go.
yeah.
There you go.
Hey, everybody.
There you go. Sure. No doubt, Lawrence is in the building. And so you know you've been copying off of me. We got on Blue today. Shout out to Blue.
Yeah.
Shout out to Blue. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, go
Yep,
Blue, go Blue.
absolutely.
My brothers, brothers. I think you guys already know I'm part of a fraternity foundation or organization called Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. One of
Yes.
the biggest black organizations, black Greek letter organizations in the country. Well, the Divine Nine. I like to say that they're all our brothers. We got Alpha Phi Alpha. Right, A5, they my homies right there. We got Kappa, got the
Yes.
Kappas out there. Shout out to K Psi. You know, then we got the Qs.
Yep.
Whoop, whoop. Okay, then we got the Qs out there. Shout out to my brothers. My uncle is a Q. My cousin is a Kappa. My man is an Alpha. What's the other ones out there? I got my it's
I
it's
can't.
couple-
You name all of the
you-
ones that
yeah,
I could remember
I
offhand.
I know.
So.
I feel bad because I always forget them. They never get recognized like the way they supposed. But just know I love y'all, right? But we talk weeklies after the talk on WPP MLP Philadelphia 106.5 FM. We got a dynamic show for you today, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna we have another mayoral candidate
Yes.
to which I'm excited to have because we will be able to talk a little bit about how they will support the community. You know, they are at this point running in a leadership position.
Right.
This will be, I can't remember, is it the 100th year or the 100th mayor?
100th mayor.
It's the 100th
Yes.
mayor, right? And so we are in a time where we are selecting something that's pivotal.
Right.
You know, we're talking about the 100th.
Right.
100th. That's a lot of folks. That's a lot of mayors that, you know, came through. And then Philadelphia is known for being so historic as it relates to the political spectrum, this political scope. And so that's a big deal. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it sure is. And I think right now, it's just it's a huge job for whoever whoever is stepping into the ring
Right.
in 2023 to take on Philadelphia.
Yeah.
They're essentially taking on like the weight of the world. You could kind of compare it to I'm trying to think, like, you know, when Obama stepped in after Bush's mess.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I
Try
mean?
to
It's
clean-
just yeah, it's just kind of like that. And it's so much
Yeah, yeah.
that they have to take on. You got gun violence and, you know, some of the top issues that are affecting that people, the Philadelphians, are concerned about. And right now, for me, I just feel like everyone that's running needs to tap into black and brown communities
Yeah.
and what are our issues. And those need to be, you know, at the forefront of
right.
your plans on day one.
Yeah. And so if you have any questions, I mean, feel free to write in the chat. I mean, we're going to allow this to go live in our chats. And if you have a pressing question, feel free to ask any question that you have as it relates to what you would like to see in the mayor, in our next mayor. What do you think this mayor that we have is lacking? What do you think that the current mayor needs to focus on? You know, there was a poll, and I always get this statistic wrong. Is it 60%, 70%?
65.
65% of the people believe that all of the mayoral candidates don't have it. They don't know what the people actually need. And so we want to make sure that they don't miss the mark. We want to make sure that And so we just want to make sure that you guys message, the message that you have for the community that you represent. I think I was telling you, I went on a block captain. I went on a block captain. It was like how can I put it? Like a leadership lecture, kind of like event type of thing that the city had,
I
right?
think I know what you're talking about. It's some type of program that they have for preparing people to be block
Right.
captains, and
Yes.
it's
Yes.
like a training and stuff that you go through.
100%.
Yeah, I know what you're
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about.
And so I had the opportunity to go there, and I spoke to it. I'd never been there before, and it was eye opening because first of all, I didn't realize how many block captains there were. It looked like
I
half the
thought
city
they
was
were
there.
played out
Yeah.
because I never
Yeah.
see what I saw block captains doing back in the day when I was younger. It was like they would be out, they would be interacting with people, they would be planning stuff for your block. They would plan the street cleanings and all that. When you got up, everybody had to move their car and you swept the street. And I don't see that anymore. I see a couple soldiers still holding it
Yeah.
down
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Absolutely.
like getting out sweeping, just their front or whatever. But I saw that like the other day, and I was just like, wow, I just really don't see that anymore like I used to.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a shame.
Yeah, it's definitely a shame. And, we want to make sure that, all of the block captains are heard also, right? We want to make sure that everybody within the context of supporting Philadelphia, the people one thing that they said was that block captain, it was this lady, she said her mother was 94, I think, and she was 60. And she said she's second generation block captain. She said her mother on her block is still the block captain. And it blew my mind. It blew my mind because it said that that's the most thankless job that there is. They don't even get recognized for being a block captain the way that they should.
Right.
And so I think that we need to make sure that our citizens, everyone is acknowledged for the work that they do. We need to make sure that the city of Philadelphia is, taken care of. I think a lot of the issues that we have are overlooked by way of the so-called talking points that people throw out there.
Right.
So all of the other issues kind of get looked over. It's like, come on, what are you doing? So it's just one of those things. And so we just want to make sure that the people are heard. But, before we get into that, because we have someone with whom I have a tremendous amount of respect for that's coming on to talk to us today. But let's go into how was your day? How was your day, Sizzle? Holla at me.
I had a pretty decent day. I just want to shout the Limb Fest out for the Constellation Leadership News Initiative that I am a cohort member. Each year they have this, and it's to pretty much groom and train people in the newsroom to be leaders in the newsroom. So we've been going strong for a couple months. We're actually going to be finishing up next month and having a graduation or some type of commencement. But yeah, I just want to shout out the Limb Fest.
Right.
They are
Yeah,
near
shout
and
out.
dear to my heart.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Why don't you tell?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell everyone, pretty much about Every Voice, Every Vote, and the initiative that we're in right now. Trying to do our due diligence and service for the community.
So we did have Sean Mooring from the Limb Fest come on
Yeah,
a
shout
couple
out to Sean.
weeks ago, and he talked about every voice, every vote, and the idea behind it. I think they were aware that Philadelphia was coming up to 11, and amid the crisis that's going on in Philadelphia with crime, gun violence, and all that. So they wanted to create this coalition with news organizations. Let me see who's all in it. News organizations. It's I think community organizations, community advocacy groups, and just a whole bunch of people. I think now they're up to like 73 or
Yeah, it's
75
a lot of them,
people
definitely.
in it because it just became so huge. But what they wanted to do was, I guess, just pretty much make the focus of electing the next mayor on the people. And what are the people of Philadelphia, the Philadelphians, what are their desires for the city, and what they want to see the next mayor achieve? Because I think a lot of times when you're going through electing an official, or whomever, whether it be the presidential election or the other mayoral elections and so on and so forth, I think the what the people want and need a lot oftentimes gets not included so much in the picture and the decision making, and like, so they wanted to bring together, create this coalition to have all of us come together and just to create forums, get out information to people about voting, registering to vote, and all the they wanted to create all these things so that it pretty much increases the voice of the people of Philadelphia and what they want. So that's why they brought everybody together, and we just realized, like, this is so much was happening, I guess, after COVID, the pandemic, and the increase in crime and inflation and mental health, increases in mental health and all that.
Yeah.
It just was so much going on all at that point, and it really caused a lot of cities, and this is nationwide. It's
Yeah.
not just Philadelphia that's dealing with a lot of the issues that Philadelphians are concerned about. So I just feel like right now, just this is just going to be a huge job for
Yeah.
this mayor, and I think
Exactly.
they want to make sure that the appropriate person is elected that's going to address just all of these issues.
Yeah. So I'm curious, right? What is it that you would like to see from the next mayor? That's one of the questions I don't think we asked each other. What would you like to see in our next mayor?
Yeah, that's true. I think we don't ask each other about, like, what do we want to see and all that. We're just kind of like, well,
I know.
this is
I know.
what Philadelphians want. This
Yeah,
is what
yeah,
they want to
sure.
see, because we are the people. We are for the people. So what our their best interests. I'm getting ready to say it backwards. Our we have their best interests at heart. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but like, oh man, I'm kind of feeling what Philadelphians are feeling when
Yeah.
it comes to like what we want to see happen. And number one is like crime and gun violence,
Yeah, that's
public
just
safety.
nuts
That's
right
so
now, yeah.
important right now. You got people that are wanting to move out of the city, period. And then also, with me being in the criminal justice sector and law enforcement as well, it's bleeding into the other counties. Not that things aren't happening there, but like it's definitely like
Really?
you're starting to see stuff pop up here and there and all that.
Interesting.
And yeah, not that I'm.
No, I
I'm,
got
I'm gonna leave that alone because I was
Yeah,
getting ready to go
no
into my
doubt.
Jeff Brown. So the counties, that's not our business.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm not gonna say that. But like, we do need to be concerned about Philadelphia. That's my number one.
Yeah, the priority.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. I mean, it's not the. No, we love like our neighboring counties. We love like the Ardmores. We love like the DC, Delaware counties. We love the Springfields. We love
They
all
don't
our.
love us.
I know that's crazy, right? But we love our neighboring counties, but they have their own mayor. And I think that what Philadelphians are looking for in a mayor is someone who's gonna take true or be a true leader. Hold themselves accountable.
Right.
Don't worry about if they're wrong. Like, I mean, literally, it's okay not to have the answers.
Right.
You know, I don't know anyone who's perfect and has all the answers. In fact, if you are a candidate and you act as if you have all the answers, I'm a little skeptical with that, because that means you can't be corrected or you can't be given guidance because you believe that you already have what it takes, or you already believe that you know what the fix is. And so when it comes to that, I would love to know what you guys think out there. You know, what do you believe is, you know, that burning question, or what do you think makes a great leader of Philadelphia? What do you believe will be the best quality for a mayor of Philadelphia? I'm really interested in that. But go ahead. You have something? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say also, what's also important too, and something that I was looking into now, because we are officially less than 30 days away from.
Man, that's scary.
Yeah, we're like less than 30 days away from the election.
Yeah.
So I was looking through like, hey, who are the judges that are running for office? Who are our city council, I guess next city council people? Who are the people that are running for a city council? And there's other little things that are on the ballot. Of course, the questions like. And you know, we'll probably discuss this in full detail a little later as the election approaches. But just being aware of, you know, who's on the ballot, doing your research, and you know, getting to know these people and what they're doing and all that, and what their plan is and what they've done
Right.
in the past as well. You know.
For sure.
That, and then knowing those questions. People ask about that, like those, I forget the name of the questions, but the questions that the charter rule, the rule charter, those questions.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I like to know them before I go in there. So just finding out like what those questions are so you can understand them.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're trying to get out of there and you're putting things in or trying to figure out who am I voting for. Then when you get to the end, you have to read this chunk of information, these paragraphs. It's, shall the rule be amended for this and that and the other? And you're like, what?
I know, right?
What is this?
Home
This,
charter rule.
right?
What is,
Should this be amended? And it's starting to sound like Shakespeare. Like,
for
no,
sure.
you know, look up that stuff before you go in.
All right, no doubt. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want you guys to go anywhere. When we come back, you already know someone with whom I have a tremendous amount of respect for. We're going to talk to her a little bit about, you know, being the next leader of Philadelphia. What does that mean to her? But I don't want you guys to go anywhere. We'll be right back after this, y'all. Holla.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Classy Lady Spark, where we talk weekly, and they doing sound check in the back. We're here at the Avenue Beyond Control ABC production. They putting on a fantastic event. We got Slick Rick, we got Chub Rock, we got Fantastic Noise, we got Ducky Fresh, we got DJ Red Alert, and the real Roxanne Shante. Listen, if you not here, y'all, you're missing out. So please don't go anywhere. Keep it locked. We got a whole lot of interviews coming up. Peace.
What's up, y'all? This is Doug E. Fresh, and you're watching We Talk Weekly. You're listening to We Talk Weekly right here as we go a little something like this. Hit it.
Well, I'm the A in ABC. I'm Ashley.
I'm the C in ABC. I'm Cola.
And I'm the B, Bianca.
That's what's up. Y'all heard it now. What does ABC stand for?
Avenues Beyond Control. Basically, we got the name from our initials, and then we just turned it into a name.
Wow. Then tell us tonight who was here.
We had Slick Rick, Dougie Fresh, Roxanne Shante, Chub Rock, Fantastic Noise.
Red Alert.
Oh,
Wow. And real quick, because I know y'all women are busy and it was a lit show. Tell us what it took to put this together.
a lot of hard work, and my back is killing me.
I second that notion.
And as you can see, we're not even dressed. So that just shows you we've been running all day.
All right, but tell everybody, are you pleased with the outcome of what all the smiles, all the people who was like appreciative that y'all brought that nostalgic back tonight?
Yes, we definitely appreciate it. We want to do it for our city, and to see the smiles on Trent residents' face is all we're doing it for.
Talk Weeklies After the Talk on WPPMLP Philadelphia 106.5 FM. We talk weeklies after the talk with your boy Charles Gregory and the beautiful.
Lauren Sizzle.
And say it one more again. Let me make
Lauren
sure.
Sizzle.
There it go. There's
Yeah,
that
it's
voice.
nice.
And so, as stated, it's someone with whom I have a tremendous amount of respect for. When we talk about who will be in a leadership position, the next mayor of Philadelphia, this is 100. 100, man, and it's an important number. Not only is it an important number, but Philadelphia, man. Philadelphia has a rich history of not only their politicians, but when we talk about just culture, arts, when we talk about, the citizens who are, advocating for those who may have been marginalized, when you talk about people who have, who work hard for the city. And this is one thing that I always say about Philadelphia. There is not one city who has more diehard fans than Philadelphia. 100%, 100%. So without further ado, come on, sister, who do we have today?
So we have Rebecca Rhynhart. She is running for mayor because she believes Philadelphians deserve a leader who works as hard as its people. With almost 15 years working for the city, a decade from 2 different mayors, and 5 years as the independently elected city controller.
Yeah.
Rebecca has a proven record of creating real change for our city and a data-driven approach to making city government actually work for people. Welcome to the show, Miss Rebecca Rhynhart.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here. Really great to be here.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming. Yeah, absolutely. And I think, one of the questions I like to start with all of the candidates who come is why are you running to be in this leadership position?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, well, I'm running for mayor because I truly love our city. I love Philadelphia. And I believe that I'm the right person to lead our city forward in this critical moment. We're facing so many challenges of gun violence, of homelessness, quality of life issues, and that's on top of the longstanding challenges of lack of opportunity in our education system. I say all that, but all of these issues are fixable.
Yeah.
And I believe that I'm the right person to do that because I know the city inside and out from my work as the city controller. I know the city's budget inside and out from being the city's budget director. And I've shown the courage to stand up to the status quo. I've gotten into quite a few political fights as the city controller, and I believe we need a strong leader right now to fix the issues, to make our city work.
Yeah, you have. And I remember when you did an investigation on kind of the numbers, and you held your ground and you reported what the facts were.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you doing that. One of the things that I get offended for you is people saying that, do you think you're strong enough? I would rather say that not only do you have it, but I think you're the most likable candidate on there.
Thank you very much.
So what is it about, you being in a position to say that I'm going to be leadership, but I am the most I don't want to say qualified, but I am the person to be.
Yeah.
Why do you feel that way, though? You know?
I feel that way because I know how the city government works and doesn't work. I feel for the people of our city. And I've shown as city controller that I stand up for people when they don't have a voice. And I know how to operate. I've been the executive in charge of the city controller's office. I know how to get things done. As mayor, that's what we need. We need a mayor that will tackle these issues, that knows how to get it done, but also wants to change things. I mean, I've called out so many issues as city controller with racial inequities in service delivery and trash pickup by neighborhood, and I've done work around gun violence and called on the mayor to do more now. But that's where my power ended. And as mayor, I can make the change happen. And I think the leader we need right now has to be ready to hit the ground running on day one. Okay, I'm ready. Gotcha. The next mayor needs to have the courage to stand up to status quo government and the entrenchment. And I have that. And our next mayor needs to have vision. And my vision for our city is to have a safer Philadelphia, to have a cleaner Philadelphia, so that the beauty of our city truly shines through. And look, my daughter is in 7th grade in the public school system. My vision is to improve the schools across all of our neighborhoods so that the youth truly have opportunity. And my vision is to have a really well-run city government so that the trash is picked up, the streets are paved, there's street lighting. Like, we can do this. And we have an amazing, amazing city. We do. But we have to fix these issues. And I do feel that I'm the right person to lead our city.
Cool. So why don't we go or jump straight into what is your platform? Clearly, you know, because I think a lot of the candidates talk about like the different pull quotes and their things that they want to jump on, but not clearly explain what their platform actually is. So why don't you tell for, all of our listeners and viewers, what is your platform?
Yeah. So my platform, number one, top priority is to make our city safer. We have to tackle the gun violence, and we can. I've laid out a plan to implement the intervention strategies that have been shown to work in other cities, basically offering a way out for the young men in the life of violence, employment and services. And what's been found is the vast majority of these young men want a way out, with consequences if they don't take it. But the vast majority want that way out. And then also on the gun violence issue, I'll pull together the DA and the police commissioner and say, look, we need to get on the same page.
Interesting.
We need to get on the same page with tackling and cracking down on illegal guns. And everyone right now is sort of doing their own thing. And the mayor's job is to convene. And I'll pull them into the room and say, we need to figure this out. Right. The police have doubled the number of arrests for illegal carry, while the conviction rate for those cases has gone from 65% to 42%. Now, I've talked to DA Krasner, and he said, well, the police cases aren't good enough. Well, okay, so then let's all get in the same room and figure out what needs to change on that. And then the second part of my platform is fixing the schools and creating opportunity. Need to fix the schools and create job pathways from our poorest neighborhoods to growing industries. We have a really quick, fast-growing life sciences industry in West Philly, and we need to create those job training and job pathway programs so that we actually have one economy in our city. Not two, not an economy that's the center city economy and then neighborhoods that don't have the same opportunity. We can create pathways so that people are getting trained from the neighborhoods into the good paying jobs. And that's what I want to do. And that's going to be a top priority.
Awesome. So you were just talking about gun violence. And I just wanted to say that when I first learned about Rebecca Rhynhart, that was when I was doing a couple projects for my journalism program that I just finished up, and I had to report a lot on crime and safety, and I used your map in Philadelphia's gun violence.
Okay.
So can you talk a little bit about that? Because that's one of the number one concerns with Philadelphians is gun violence and public safety. So could you talk about the mapping Philadelphia gun violence initiative that was started, and then just talk about what are your plans for gun violence and public safety in Philadelphia?
So back in 2019, I started doing work around gun violence as the city controller. And it's not the typical area of a controller. The controller is the financial watchdog. But I felt as a mom, as a resident of our city, that I needed to lean in on this because kids are dying. And I felt strongly that if this were happening in predominantly white neighborhoods in our city, there would be intense urgency around fixing it. And I didn't see that same urgency. And I felt that is unacceptable. And I have to do everything I can possibly do to stop this gun violence crisis. And so the mapping, after I did reporting on what works in other cities, the intervention strategies, the group violence intervention, cognitive behavior therapy, street outreach. After I urged the mayor to do that, then I started a mapping tool in my office that what we did was we pulled the data from the police department, from the courts, and created a live feed which tracked every homicide, every shooting, and then you can sort it by elementary school catchment, by neighborhood. You can see where the violence is occurring. And my goal with that was to keep attention on this crisis. That you can look at the hotspot areas. You can pinpoint down where the gun violence is the highest. And even where I announced my run for mayor was in the middle of a hotspot that was identified through my office's mapping. So that is where that came from. And I kept doing more and more work around gun violence, doing everything I could possibly do. So my plans on this, day one, I would open the city's emergency operations center. That allows me as mayor to coordinate not just the police department response, but also the streets department to fix street lighting, library to put after-hour library programming in the neighborhoods most impacted by the violence, rec programming to have expanded rec hours in those neighborhoods. We have to give teenagers and kids things to do. And trauma treatment. The city spends $1 billion a year on behavioral health services, but it doesn't get to the people most in need, and we need to fix that. And I'm going to fix that. So these are all of my plans around gun violence. I'm confident that we can get this down. I've committed to cutting the homicide rate in half by the end of my first term, and I believe that I can do it, that we can do it.
Interesting,
Awesome.
interesting. Go ahead. You have another question?
Oh no, I was just gonna say I love the the collaborative efforts and all that went into like putting this, because it was very extensive. Like it was so extensive. I could go in there and like kind of not just look at things on the on the surface, but like diving deep into like the hot spots, like you said, and like. And then I could go over to the police for what they were working on and their reports and all that and the things that they were implementing, and just see that how it was, just kind of showing, the data, and then how it was kind of just like coming together. Like you could tell you were working together.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for that. So we know that Philadelphia is a very dynamic city. We know that everything isn't black and white, right? And we know that there's challenges, and we know that, people are human, right? And I get that, because in a minute I want you to, and you can just put this in your parking lot, because I want to know who is Rebecca Rhynhart. I want to know that question. So put that in your parking lot for a minute. But I want to talk about our current mayor, right? And him feeling overwhelmed. And he was quoted saying that, he announced that he was tired of being the Philadelphia mayor and pretty much couldn't wait to get out of office, right? And that was something that triggered a lot of people, right? When you heard that, what did you think? And two, knowing what you know now and how dynamic Philadelphia is, how do you believe you would have handled that situation?
Well, it was a horrible statement.
Yeah.
To me, Philadelphia needs a leader more than ever. And when a city is struggling, that's when a city needs its mayor the most. To me, that statement was similar as if, you're a parent and your kids are struggling. You got teenagers that are difficult and you're like, I'm done.
Yeah.
You don't do that. Yeah. That's when you lean in and you say, no, we're going to get through this together. But you're not going to go away. And to me, being the mayor of Philadelphia means being 150% committed to loving this city, to loving the people in our city. And you know what? We are going to fix it together.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Who is Rebecca Rhynhart?
I am a very compassionate, driven, focused person. I came back to Philly in '08 to make Philadelphia government work. I believe strongly that government needs to work for people. And, I think that that's what drives me.
Right.
And I feel strongly also that I need to use my voice for people that don't have that platform themselves. And that's what motivates me. And I'm people would describe me as very with a lot of tenacity, a lot of grit and resilience, and also with a fighting spirit, which
No doubt.
So a lot of the commercials that you've been doing have been including former Mayor Street and former Mayor Nutter.
Yeah.
How did you bring those two together?
Polarity, right? How?
How'd you get those two
Completely
together?
different, right?
I love it.
very different, very different. So obviously Mayor Nutter I worked for a number of years. So I worked for Nutter, and I actually worked 1 year for Mayor Kenny. But I've known Mayor Nutter for a long time. Mayor Street I met after I won the controller's race in 2017. I met him, started talking to him, and he invited me to guest lecture his class at Temple. And we just started a banter in that class that then we started having lunch every few months. And I really, really appreciate Mayor Street's commitment to the neighborhoods and what he did for our city. And I developed a really good relationship with him. Separately, I asked for their support, their endorsement. And then I started to broach the topic of, what about getting the two of you together?
That's funny.
which took a few weeks to pull
I'm
off.
sure. Yeah.
But they talk now. So
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like you created a whole relationship with these two.
yeah, and I think that convening power, that ability to connect is important.
Yeah. Hopefully you can do that for the city, because it's a lot of polarity within the city.
That's right. That's right.
And so, so the reason, our line of questioning, sometimes we ask the hard questions, but we like to humanize the candidates, right? I think oftentimes when it comes to a lot of the panels, you guys are riddled with these questions.
Right.
And, you. But we like to say there's another side. The thing that is the I guess the tipping point to who should be the mayor, right? Because I think what happens oftentimes, and if you look at honestly, if I'm being 100% transparent, 90% of the candidates running I believe, are qualified. And I think that most of them will do a pretty decent job. It's who will do the best job and who will I like as being
Yeah.
in that leadership position that I can trust, right? In Philadelphia, in polls and stats, that's coming out that feels that Philadelphia don't trust the current leadership. They don't trust the leadership in Philadelphia. What do you think you could do as mayor to win that trust back from the citizens?
I think the key to winning back trust is to keep your word. And I think that government often does not keep its word. 100%. And I'll give an example that when, I supported the soda tax because I support pre-K and community schools and improvements to our rec centers. But as controller, when I started to see the data come in from my office that less than 50% of that money was being used for those 3 programs, I said, wait a second, that's not right. Like, the mayor and others sold this tax to the people of our city to say this is going to fund pre-K, community schools, and improvements to Park and Rec. And now you're using less than 50% of it for that. So I called that out. And, the mayor was like, I don't know what her problem is. And I'm like, my problem is that this is the problem. Yeah, my problem is that, that there needs to be a compact between people and their government. And that's based on trust. It's a relationship. And it's very broken right now because political leaders just break it, and it's completely wrong. So what I'll do as mayor and what I've done as city controller is call it the way it is. Go out to the neighborhoods and say, I'm here for you. I am leading and represent you, and I say it the way it is. I'm gonna carry through for you, and that's why I do have community and activist support across our city. That I invite people into my office and say, "Look, I'm gonna do this." And you know what? If I get into 10 political fights with the people that are supposedly powerful, well, so be it. They didn't elect me. The people elected me. So I think that's the key, and I know that it's hard to rebuild that trust. Because people feel so, they just feel so taken advantage of by the government. And it's going to take some time. What I hope is that it's a healing process and that over time, if I become mayor, that over time that trust will build. And it'll build every day, just like a relationship.
For sure.
What are your plans for arts and entertainment?
Yeah, I was about to get in that.
Oh,
Yeah. So we have such a great city in terms of arts and entertainment. And as mayor, I will be a big advocate of it. So on the arts, I want to create a deputy mayor for the arts, which involves both looking at the arts in terms of course, our large institutions, but also all of the neighborhood arts organizations. Arts, dance, we have so much going on in Philly, and we need a vision coming from the city about how to best support the arts across our city. I've been on the board of Mural Arts since 2016, and I've seen the work, what art does, not just for the beauty of art, but for the expression, the healing, the community building, and the power of it. So I'm a big supporter of it. And nightlife, our city has so much going on, and we need to encourage it. So I want to have, stakeholders from the entertainment industry, from nightlife industry, be convening with me and my administration to say, how do we do this better? We have all these great music venues. We have, clubs. We have so much going on, which is awesome, and we should celebrate that. So I want to be a proponent of it, and be a cheerleader for it and celebrate it because we've got a lot going on.
Yeah, fantastic. Because and I usually ask that question when it comes to the candidates because we are huge advocates of the arts, especially when it comes to Philadelphia, right? Because we're within the construct of arts, right? When we talk about, I believe that the arts makes everything sexy. You don't know anything without the arts, right?
That's right.
Especially when it comes to like even platforms like We Talk Weekly, right? And so what I guess the question that I'm curious is, what would you do to make sure that, smaller arts organizations are amplified? Because what tends to happen is, all the candidates or everyone talk about the arts, right? But they leave out the small arts platforms. They focus on, the legacy organization of arts, right? However, you get to not necessarily platforms like We Talk Weekly, but other platforms who are moving and shaking and creating the nightlife events and putting on, dances and have fine arts. And you go up Germantown, you'll see a whole kind of, beautiful multicultural section of artists. You go to West Philadelphia, 52nd Street, you see the same thing. You go to 60th Street, you can go to North Philadelphia and look on Broad Street. It's a lot of people who are doing dynamic things within the art, but not really being supported in that way. And what tends to happen also is you have this gatekeeper mentality, which is a problem, right? And if you are not on that forefront or if you're not visible like our legacy organizations, then you're not taken seriously, right? So what would you do as mayor to make sure that, those smaller platforms are amplified so they're not forced to fight for the little scraps that they can get, right? But, the little $1,500 activity grant might get them a day or two, but then guess what? Tomorrow is still another day.
Right.
We need sustainability, right? And so what would you do as mayor to support that sustainable culture to continue to make it fruitful? Because we have the soccer, they come in, what year is
the
that?
World
The
Cup.
World Cup is coming?
Yes.
What year is that? I think that's next year? The 2026? 25.
26.
26.
26, yeah.
Right. You're right.
And I'll get in. You can answer the question after this, but I just want to put all of this in context, right? And so you'll have something like that come, huge event. You only have the big three able to cover that, right? You have your Channel 3, your Channel 6, your PHLs, your major platforms, but then it comes to platforms like us, and you know what? You're too small. You can't get in, or you're not important enough. Right. So what would you do to sustain and amplify those, smaller organizations to make sure that they have a seat at the table, so to speak?
So on the arts, first, we need to have stable funding. And I have an arts policy and arts plan on my website that talks about that we need stable funding. And then we need to create different buckets of money within that stable funding for small arts organizations, so that neighborhood by neighborhood, to get at the problem that you're talking about right now, that the small arts organizations shouldn't be fighting over an activities grant. They should have a part of the cultural fund money and not have to be fighting each other for that, because we should be uplifting each other in terms of arts organizations and not fighting with each other. So that having that stable source of funding and not have the small organizations have to compete with the big ones for pots of money, that it would be segregated. So to me, I think that's part of the answer. And the other part of the answer is looking at each neighborhood and making sure we are supporting the arts in each neighborhood. Because when we look at it that way, then it's going to naturally happen that the city does not ignore the small arts on 52nd or Germantown, the places that you've just mentioned. And that goes right into the World Cup in 2026, because my vision for that is to have a celebration neighborhood by neighborhood.
I love that. That. Round of applause for that. I love that. Yeah.
Because we are a city of neighborhoods.
That's right.
And, to me, it gets back to that part of my first 100-day plan is to clean every neighborhood. to make sure the trash is picked up and get all of the trash picked up and cleaning and greening and then focusing in on every neighborhood. And the arts follows that. So that we can truly uplift and then, fix the schools and the more longer term create opportunity. But we're not healthy unless all of our neighborhoods are healthy.
That's right. That's right. I love that.
So we have we talk weekly as a part of the WHYY NICE program, the neighborhood initiatives program.
Okay.
So we're a part of that, and one of the cohort members of Art Block had a question that they wanted to ask, and they said, how do you stand on your support for the Philadelphia Cultural Fund? Would you maintain the current PCF budget or increase it? And she said, could you explain your answer? And PCF is an independent 501c3 nonprofit established by the city in 1991 as the mechanism by which the city directly, consistently, and without political influence supports the city's nonprofit art sector and its community of artists. I want to say I think we got a grant from there in 2020 during the pandemic when a lot of artists were out of work and weren't earning any money.
Yeah.
So I think we did.
So my view on the Cultural Fund is that we need to make sure that it has ample funding and that it's not on the chopping block for cuts every single time there's an issue, because that's something that I've seen happen over and over again. For example, when the pandemic first hit, Mayor Kenny put out a budget that had severe cuts to the arts as well as tax increases. Yeah. And at that time, I released an alternative budget, which said, you know what, we don't need these severe cuts to the arts, and we don't need to raise taxes. We need to manage the city better. If we actually managed overtime, for example, we could easily save $40 million a year. These are things that my office has called out as controller, but as mayor, I can implement them. And to make a cut to the arts does not make sense. The arts are the lifeblood of our city in terms of beauty, in terms of expression. So we need to be funding them. I just believe that. So it'll show through in my priorities.
No, we believe that too. Yeah. We 100% believe that. We make everything sexy here,
Yeah.
And so, real quick, right?
Yeah.
And we're about to let you go, and we appreciate you for coming.
Sure.
But we asked one question to the candidates, and this is like a curveball, but we want to know the one thing that no one else knows about Rebecca Rhynhart. Sometimes they call it the Snapple fact, right? But what's the one thing no one else knows about Rebecca Rhynhart that you could tell us?
The one thing that no one knows about me. I don't know what no one knows about me. Let's see.
Gotta dig deep.
High school job, I worked at Martin's Aquarium on Old York Road. Okay. I started as a fish catcher, but they put me on cash register after like 2 weeks because they said I had a good smile and people waiting in line, So then I balanced the books. I could balance the books. So then that was my, entry into finance. So there you go.
There you go. Shout out. There you go. Balance the books. Always about money. There you go. And so I want you to look in the camera and let everyone know why they should vote for Rebecca Rhynhart for mayor.
Well, I'm Rebecca Rhynhart, and you should vote for me for mayor because I truly am the right person to lead our city forward. I know the city's issues from my work at the city. I've shown the courage to stand up to the status quo, and I can fix these issues. I can make our city safer and cleaner and create opportunity, and I'll fight for you. I'll fight for you, and I'll lead you, and our city will rise up from where we are now. So please vote May 16th, Rebecca Rhynhart. Thank
Fantastic. You. How can they find more about you and, all that?
So RebeccaForPhiladelphia.com is my website, and that's all spelled out. So RebeccaForPhiladelphia.com. And please sign up on my website. We're knocking 200,000 doors across the city of Philadelphia. We would love to have the listeners and the viewers tonight join into that, and truly appreciate it.
Fantastic,
Yeah.
fantastic. Well, we reach over 200,000 people in the Philadelphia area.
Yes.
So, make sure, if, one thing that we say too is that we haven't endorsed anyone. Who we support are people who we know are in the streets doing things for the community, right? And we see the people who are visible. And it's important for the community to feel that not only they're being supported, but they're not just being talked at, but they're being talked to.
Right.
And we understand that a lot of the citizens has lost hope. They have lost trust. And they feel that even oftentimes their vote doesn't even count, right? And so what would you tell that, on the, I guess, fence person about voting and why it's so important to vote?
It is so important to vote because your vote is your voice. And voting is the foundation of the democracy we live in. And I can completely understand why people are jaded by it. Because of things that have happened, but please get out there and vote because we can change things and your vote can be the difference. It truly is that clear that if you come out and you exercise your right to vote, you can support me getting elected and then I can fix the city. But but I will say it's important to vote. It really is. It's your voice. Don't lose your voice. Don't lose your voice. Without your voice, you're never going to create the change. So get out there and vote. Use your voice.
Okay. Last question. You really have been managing those books and been a watchdog for that, right? You no longer are doing that. If you're not elected as our mayor in terms of leadership, what then does Rebecca do? Rebecca Rhynhart.
Well, I plan to win.
Okay.
But look, I think I want to help the city, and that's been my mission and my goal. I want to help the people of our city, and I'll continue doing that.
There you go.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Rebecca Rhynhart, We Talk Weeklies After the Talk on WPPM LP Philadelphia 106.5 FM. We Talk Weeklies After the Talk with your boy Charles Gregory and a beautiful.
Lauren Sizzle.
And a beautiful.
Rebecca Rhynhart. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, y'all. We had a dynamic interview with someone who is anticipating being the next mayor, the 100th mayor, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, because this is what we do. We want you to make sure that you go out and vote. Go out to vote your voice. Every voice. That's what I'm used to saying now because we're part of the initiative, right? But every voice matters because your vote becomes your voice. If you do not vote, then you can't say anything with whomever wins, which is important so you can reflect how you really feel, what you really feel in your vote. So make sure you go out and vote. And when is the vote?
May 16th.
May 16th. May 16th, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back after this. Holla.
We just want to get a little background as to who the Fantastic Noise is and the noisemakers. If you can let us know.
Yes, absolutely. So once again, I am Fantastic Noise. I am the original noisemaker, so no one's going to make as much noise as me, okay? And right here we have the Noisemaker Band. This is only half of it. The other stuffs are upstairs. My Kevin Lamar, Lonnie, and Dobbs, who are the actual band members. These are the background singers. And we came to make some noise. We came to bring that noise today. That's what we trying to do. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
And how did you guys get together?
Oh man, so it started with, I've been doing this on my own for almost 3 years now. And man, I guess each of these people here have different background stories. Most of us went to the same church together and we just kept going. This one, this is one of my assistants here, one of like my biggest supporter, my biggest shooter here. She's an assistant. So we just been building, and the same thing with upstairs with the band, just meeting through people, kept networking, kept seeing, and it was just like God ordained. Bam, here we are.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, could you guys do We Talk Weekly a favor?
Yes.
Can you give us a drop in a melody type way?
Oh, a melody type way?
Yes.
Okay. So we talk weekly?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to do something like this. We talk weekly, come and hear us. We talk weekly, come and hear them. 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 We talk weekly, come and hear them.
Okay, get beautified because y'all already gorgeous.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hey, this is Roxanne Shante, and your week cannot be complete unless you listen to or watch We Talk Weekly. Please believe it, baby.
After the talk on WPPMLP Philadelphia 106.5 FM, we talk weeklies. After the talk, I don't want you guys to go anywhere. We just had a dynamic interview with someone with whom I have a tremendous amount of respect for, Rebecca Rhynhart. We will make sure that we continue to do our due diligence for the community. We will continue to amplify the voices of those who are having challenges and being heard, and that's what our platform is for, is to make sure that we can amplify those voices. But coming up next, we have these two young people that I am absolutely excited to have on the show today, because they are truly fighting for the position to be heard by way of their political space. They are doing some journalistic work there, and we have young people who truly care, and they're going to talk about their stories, and we really appreciate them. So I don't want you guys to go anywhere. We'll be right back, y'all. We Talk Weekly.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Classy Lady Sparkle. We Talk Weekly, and they doing sound check in the back. We're here at the Avenue Beyond Control ABC production. They putting on a fantastic event. We got Slick Rick, we got Chump Rock, we got Fantastic Noise, we got Ducky Fresh, we got DJ Red Alert, and the real Roxanne Shante. Listen, if you not here, y'all, you're missing out. So please don't go anywhere. Keep it locked. We got a whole lot of interviews coming up. Peace.
What's up, y'all? This is Doug E. Fresh, and you're watching We Talk Weekly. You're listening to We Talk Weekly right here as we go a little something like this.
Well, I'm the A in ABC. I'm Ashley.
I'm the C in ABC. I'm Cola.
And I'm the B, Bianca.
That's what's up, y'all.
Hey, this is Roxanne Shante, and your week cannot be complete unless you listen to or watch We Talk Weekly. Please believe it, baby.
Please believe it, baby. That was Roxanne Shante shouting out We Talk Weekly, man. We're everywhere. If you want to be there, you want us to be there, make sure you reach out to us. We Talk Weekly. We Talk Weekly's After the Talk on WPPMLP Philadelphia 106.5 FM. If you want to see us live, you can always go to our We Talk Weekly page. Not only our Facebook page, but you can go to We Talk Weekly on IG. You want to find us, you can actually just Google We Talk Weekly. You want to find us on our website, go to wetalkweekly.com. We talk weekly everywhere, and that's why we made it easy for you and easy to get yourself heard, get yourself amplified, find out the news, find out everything that's going on. And so without further ado, Sizzle, who do we have today?
So we have Bullhorn News.
Yeah.
Their mission statement is that Bullhorn is an entirely student-run newspaper that aims to equitably give a voice to students who might not otherwise be able to express their opinions. They want to cover systemic problems, but also how those problems manifest in our day-to-day lives. Ultimately, they want to connect public school students from across Philadelphia, creating a district-wide identity that mobilizes and positions students to leverage the powers controlling the district. So with us today, we have Joshua Cohen. He has been a part of. Oh, Joshua has been a part of the Bullhorn since the senior year when he started as editor. And ever since joining this amazing organization, I have loved the community and the people in the Bullhorn, and I'm so grateful for the experiences I've gained outside of the Bullhorn. I can't talk tonight. I love to play sports, soccer, indoor track, and lacrosse for school, as well as skiing, hiking, and skateboarding outside of school. And he's part of the school's debate and world affairs team, and would consider himself an active member in the school's community. And he hopes to go into political science or sociology in the future.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And then we have Rowan Arthur.
Yes.
Rowan Arthur is a journalist at Girls High School. She decided to join the Bullhorn as a journalist because she loves to write. And then she says, sorry if it's a bit of a cliche, which it is a cliche, but true. I love writing, and I adore the fact that in some way my words can help convey a message or a movement. Other than writing, I love to cook and read. My favorite dishes to make are definitely South Asian and West African meals. I'm so hungry. That sounds
I'm
so
hungry,
good.
yeah.
And as for books,
That's her fault.
she'll read anything.
No doubt.
She'll read anything, but her favorite genres are magical realism, high fantasy, and contemporary romance. Oh, it's so cute. Welcome to the show, Joshua and Rowan.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. I can't hear you. Let's see if we get a sound check with you. One more again. Let me give you some
sound check.
Hi.
Can you hear
All right,
us?
there you go. Y'all sound good. There you go. Yay. There we go. All right, so let's talk. Let's jump right into it. What got y'all into journalism? Why was that particular field so important for you guys? Was it a burning itch that you have that was like, it's something that I need to do and this is it? What was it?
I think for me, at least, it was my school has a school-wide newspaper, but it was really awesome to see that a lot of people at my school and other people that I knew from other schools were getting involved in a newspaper that was district-wide and covered all the opinions of the whole city. Because I think a lot of the times, if you're just talking in one area or one school, it's hard to get a diverse range of opinions and voices, but I think the Bullhorn is able to amplify voices from all over the city and leverage that power to make actual change. So I think that's definitely what got me interested in the Bullhorn specifically. And I think just the appeal of journalism, being able to start movements, convey really important information, and especially doing that, making young people the active people in that movement is really important.
Yeah, fantastic. What about you?
For me, I think that my mom was a really big reason why I decided to become a journalist. When I was younger, she always brought in newspapers, Inquirer, newspapers, just brought them home to use around the house, and I just ended up reading them because I was bored, and we did not have cable when I was younger. So I was just reading them, and just seeing the way people wrote just made me have a really intense urge to write myself. And I spent a bunch of my middle school my time in middle school just writing for fun. And I think that's one of the reasons why I became a journalist. And Josh said, just conveying messages of real world action, I think, is another reason why I wanted to become a journalist full time in the future.
Yeah, fantastic. I want to talk a little bit about Bullhorn, though. I love the work that you guys are doing, and so I want to continue to support and make sure we push that out, and you're on our platform, so I want to amplify that. So let's talk a little bit about Bullhorn, and the young people who are working on there and pushing, fighting a good fight, because I think when it comes to papers like that, it's important to hear the young people's voice, and that's you guys. And so let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the Bullhorn is a team of, I think, almost 3 or 4 dozen students from a lot of different high schools from around the city, mostly public high schools. And I think the way that we do journalism, where we're able to like center it around young people, and a lot of the times journalism is centered around, people who typically write journalism and what their perspective is. But the way that the Bullhorn specifically is able to leverage the people that we have involved in our organization is really special. And it's also interesting because we do a lot of different types of journalism. We do pop culture, we do film reviews, we do tons of politics, op-eds, and we're really able to like cover a wide range of things, but those things are all specific to what students write. We have no like quotas about what people have to write about. Everyone's free to write what they want, which I think is really important.
I would like 100% agree. Writing for the Bullhorn is so like expressive. As someone like that actually is writing, you can really write about anything. I have like personally, I've done pop culture and I have done like political articles, city like specific articles, and like the power to have like all this freedom to write whatever you want to write is so powerful, and that's like kind of giving me kind of leverage, I guess, to like do this in the future, because I do want to be a journalist in the future. So having this experience on my back is important for me.
Yeah, fantastic. I think we want to make sure that we stay connected with you guys. Lauren actually just got her master's. Why don't you? I don't want to talk for you. I mean, we're excited for Lauren, but tell her kind of like your voyage and your travels in journalism.
So I took crazy thing is I took a journalism class in high school, and we had a school newspaper. It was really small. I think I actually have like one copy. I'm not giving years and stuff like that, because I'm not trying to date myself. But I really, really enjoyed, like when you said, I got into journalism because I love to write. I really love to write. Like I still love to write now. But I had just completed my master's in journalism program at Temple University, Klein College of Media and Communication. Shout out to Temple and Klein. But I think what kind of propelled me to want to go back and to like try to get my master's and, continue, in journalism was 2020, the George Floyd. When I saw that, I was just like, wow, I just want to continue to be the voice for the voiceless and put myself in a position to where, because, as journalists, we have power. And it's like we can write and create things that just, it shapes the world, I'd like to say. But yeah, completing that program, it was tough because I had to work a full-time job and to be in school full-time. So it was tough, but I'm glad that I did it. And, I feel like you two are, getting into like journalism during a time when we need young voices out here now. And I'm so excited for what you guys are doing and what I know you're going to continue to do. It's just like the future of journalism. It just looks so much brighter now. Because now we have the organizations like, and I hate to name names, but like we have the Fox Newses who are now being sued for pretty much what journalists do not take an oath to do. It's like we take an oath to be unbiased, to report objectively, and that's exactly what they did not do. So you guys are in a good position right now. So.
Absolutely. And so kudos to you guys. We love the young people because you guys are the future. So, and it's important for you guys to learn the right way. Right. And continue that path, and we'll definitely support you. What are, since you brought up some of the things that's important to young people, what are some of the issues? I mean, you are here to fortunately hear some of the things that Rebecca Rhynhart, who is currently running for mayor, and I want to hear, your take on, some of the issues that you guys see for young people, and what would you like to see in a mayor? Yeah.
I just want to say congratulations for getting your master's.
Oh, thank you so
No
much.
problem.
Thank you.
I can speak for myself and the people I hang around with. I think that having someone in local politics that really hyperfixates on the importance of young voices and young people in the city is important. Like not demonizing young people for things that are out of our control, and instead of that, like focusing on how to like prepare young people to become like great adults is something that's really important to me. Finding that a person in higher government cares for like the environment is another issue that's important to me and my friends. Finding someone that like cares for social issues and racial issues that can actually speak head on how they want to commit to fixing Black and brown communities in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania and the United States is like something that's really important to me, and not focusing on that like head on and saying that I want to be a person to care for young voices, care for Black and brown voices, care for the environment is something that is just incredibly important to me, and I want to write about that like heavily.
Interesting. What about you?
Yeah, definitely agree with everything that Rowan said. I think for me personally, to add on, I think something that like defines how young people view the candidates is how they view our education and what they think should be done about our education. And I think right now, most candidates can agree that education is like obviously of utmost importance, but it's about how those candidates are able to actually create material change and do actual things for the people in in these schools, because a lot of the times policymakers are able to like use lofty language, but it's nice to see actual change like for these schools that need it so badly. And especially I think personally starting at like younger ages, investing into like our elementary schools and our middle schools so that they can better prepare there's a lot of stuff going on with the higher education and like high school, but if we're able to like really fix it from the ground up with these like elementary schools and invest heavily into those, I think that's really important.
Yeah, I think providing like equitable resources to all schools in Philadelphia, especially the public schools, the neighborhood schools, is so important, because I can personally speak on behalf of my school. The resources that we have are not the same as other schools in the district, so having someone in the mayoral position that really can speak to us and get things done and fix the problems at our schools is something that's really important.
Yeah. Is it anyone that stands out as a mayoral candidate that you guys have been seeing that you like, you know what, I think they would be good for the young people of Philadelphia?
Definitely Helen Kim.
Okay.
Her campaign focusing on young people and young voices, the way she actually speaks to young people and portrays like policies that speak to young people is something that's something that makes her stand out, because a lot of the candidates really brush past it or will like mention it in like passing, but whenever you kind of hear her speak, you hear her speak about young people and how like her actual actions to help young people.
Yeah, and I think something that's really like notable about Helen Kim is that she actually like came to my high school to speak to us, and I think that's like a moment that reflects a larger trend within her campaign, that she like really does care about students. She's been involved in like Philly politics for I think over 2 decades. She's always been involved in public schools. She cares about them deeply, and I think that it's just really like it's very notable to see how like much she is doing for solely young people and also for other marginalized communities, and how she knows how to tackle those issues and create real change.
Fantastic. I love how you guys are you're on it. You know, you get it, right? And that's something that we want to make sure that everyone does. I mean, so if someone was to ask you why, because a lot of young people sometimes feel, you know, well, my vote don't count. You know, vote. Why should I vote? You know, what would you tell some of your peers as it relates to the importance of voting?
I mean, I think it is very easy to say that your vote doesn't count. Like logically it makes sense, but it's just when you look at broader trends, if everyone said that their vote doesn't count, then you know nothing would happen. We all need to partake in our like legal system for there to like actually be change. I think something that Rebecca was talking about was that there has to be like this contract between the people who are governed and the people who are like governing. And if people aren't engaging in the system and able to like actually make their voices heard, the only people who are going to be heard are going to be the people who have been heard for the past decades, centuries. And if people who we are trying to make policies about want those policies to reflect them, we need to engage with the political process and actually make sure we are being heard.
Yeah, I agree heavily. Everything you said was so real. I think that when young people don't engage with the voting process, it like upholds a place for usually very systemically higher up people to continue to have positions of power. So I would just say to anyone that doesn't think that their vote matters, I would tell them that your vote does matter, your voice does matter, because when you vote and when you speak out with your vote, real change happens. The things that you want to see happen can't happen if you just sit down and do nothing. You need to be vocal. You need to vote. Voting is important. And even though I can't vote, I will heavily enforce people to vote because it's something that's so important to democracy.
You are the only student from your school that's there. Is that correct? Are you the only one from Girls High?
Oh, yeah, the board. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. On the board. Oh, okay. Okay. And you're from Masterman, which I think I forgot to mention that. Can you tell us about some of the schools that are participating that are like all, I guess, either, on the leadership end, the writers and all that, like all the schools that you all come from?
There's me from Girls High. There's a bunch of people from Masterman, I think. Kappa, SLA. Josh, you know more?
We have someone from Conestoga High School. And I think something that's important to like recognize with the Bullhorn like leadership team, or even the team broadly, is that we are like representative of the like mostly like selective high schools, and the more, which I think is something that we need to work on and be able to expand to other high schools. And it is something that we are like actively seeking out, because Masterman, Central, SLA, Kappa, Girls High are all like
magnet schools.
So I think that being able to like reach out so we even get like more voices and more perspectives is something we need to do in the future.
Yeah, I think that being like heavily magnet school based is a little sad. I know that like there are individual problems at all of our schools, but we are kind of like the faces of public schools, and I think it would be really great if we did have more people from neighborhood schools or less funded or less represented schools working with the Bullhorn. Next, when we get more people coming on, we need to get more people from those different schools.
I love that. I love it. I love that you guys are already on it. Like you're on it. You get it. And which is I think one of the things that a lot of people don't, or a lot of the older people don't believe that you guys got it or understand, which is the reason why you guys do need to be not necessarily handed the baton, but, brought within the space to have a seat at the table to say, I have a voice too. These are some of our concerns. These are some of the things that you need to know.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you mentioned the magnet schools. What are your thoughts about the students that walked out of Philly schools in protest because of the budget cuts and the under-enrollment at magnet schools?
I love that they did that. I am a part of Philly Student Union, or Philadelphia Student Union, who kind of like sponsored that event. I can say that the people who like were it was SLA Bieber that really was the focus of that walkout, and a couple of people that I know walked out with them, and I think that that was a great thing. I think that exposing the real issue that is going on with how the school system or the school district really messed up with the lottery system. Having a lot of people fill up these like higher ed special magnet schools like Masterman and Central, and leaving other magnet schools like Girls High, Bieber, Saul, Kappa, like leaving them out for like Rowan's it really sucked. And being like the voice for us, for the schools that have a low admissions rate and are losing a lot of teachers next year is really important. I stand with them.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that like walkouts generally from schools are like one of the most effective ways we can make change, because it's really like a disruptive process, because if no one's in school, you can't teach it. It really, you make change doing that. And there have been a lot of like awesome walkouts even this year, like throughout my years at high school. There was one for the environment last week. There's a trans rights walkout, I think
Next
on the
Tuesday.
24th. Yeah. And I think that like just encouraging everyone to join in those protests, because the power that we as students have come from our numbers and like the way that we can leverage that. So everyone being involved is kind of the main priority.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. You guys get it. Shout out to the equity. I love it. Equality.
Yes.
I love it. I
Yes.
love it. I love it. You how could someone get, who may see this, a young person, and they're saying like, I want to be a part of Bullhorn. How can they, be encouraged to like, I guess, join, or can they join, or do they have to be a part of, like, tell me a little bit about that process.
Yeah, so joining the Bullhorn is incredibly easy. We want to make sure that joining is as easy for people as possible. So I think as of now, you can either just email the Bullhorn or one of our president, Gabby, or you can fill out a Google form. But either way, we get in contact really quickly. There's no like selective process or anything. We really want to make sure that even people who like maybe feel as though they wouldn't be allowed to join are able to be part of our organization and be heard in that way. So just Google the Bullhorn Student News, click on our bio, and applications should be there.
Yeah, I can speak on behalf of myself. Sure. I joined Bullhorn this year. I started writing for them end of last year, and I love it so much. Writing is really, really great, and having an outlet to write about anything that I want to write about, and having the freedom to do so is really great. Emailing Gabby, going to our website is like a great way to like become a part of the process, and I can't wait for people who are listening to maybe join Bullhorn, because it's a really great experience.
Yeah, and just to add in, we have like a lot of positions that aren't just journalists. We have editors, translators, graphic design, communications, et cetera, because we really do have to like maintain the whole organization. So if anyone doesn't want to necessarily be a writer, there are plenty of other opportunities to join and be involved.
Fantastic. Go ahead.
So I wanted to know, what are your thoughts about the increase in teenage gun violence victims in the city? Because now, we have a lot of teens who are being shot from the ages of like 12, 13, all the way up. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that the more recent gun violence, like this whole gun violence epidemic, is reflective of the administrations prior. I think that not calling action to what's going on in the streets of Philadelphia, specifically like Northeast. I know I live in Northeast, and I like kind of feel like that happening like more often than not. Like it hurts my soul so bad that gun violence is growing and growing and growing, and not having someone in leadership that really wants to like call to action what's going on. I don't want to lose someone that I care about because of gun violence, and have no one say their name. I think that having people in leadership and people in positions of power to enact laws to make sure that Philly is a safer place for me, my friends, my brother, my mom, my friend, like anyone that I care about, anyone in the city who's young and vulnerable, to just walk. And I think that's important. I think that's important for people to realize that Philly should be safe. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely agree with everything Rowan said. I think like if looking at it from like legal standpoint or from in terms of the mayoral election, I think that making sure that policymakers are addressing the root cause of these instances is really important, because there are like material conditions that put people in these situations, and taking a reactive like approach to this violence, I don't think is the way to deal with it. So per se, like increasing police or other methods that are like necessarily reactive, I think are like is not as good of a way as doing it as like fixing the root cause in like a proactive way that stops it in the future. And I think that like seeing that from a candidate would be really admirable, and making sure that whoever does get elected is able to do that is important.
Yeah, and also not seeing or reacting to gun violence with numbers. Like, this is not a numbers game. You should respect all of the victims with care, and respect future victims with care. I think that a trend I kind of see in like larger politics is that, not even referring to gun violence victims by name is really, really exploitative, because how are you going to enact future laws if you're not going to respect them enough to say their name and respect future victims to say their names? So I think that having someone, if we're talking in terms of like the mayoral election, having someone in that mayoral spot who will say their names and will call to action is something that's really important for me with the next coming years of having a new mayor.
I love it. One thing that, look, say her name, Sandra Bland, say her name. You know, when it comes to, I think sometimes we just need to shut up and listen to y'all. Listen to, you know, what affects y'all and what, you know, you believe, what you believe we can do to help you, you know. Who reached out to me? Was it any, you reached out to me?
Yeah.
Why did you feel like it was important to reach out to We Talk Weekly? I'm really curious about that.
Yeah, so Bullhorn is part of the Lenfest Initiative's Every Vote, Every Voice coalition, which is a group of like a lot of media organizations. And myself and another journalist who's not here are writing, it's about to be published, an article highlighting like the various ways in which media groups around the city are like amplifying youth voices, or amplifying voices. And then our article was specifically targeted to like how those organizations were amplifying youth voices. So I think it was just important to see how you guys were amplifying specifically youth voices, which obviously you are, quite literally. And I think just like putting that out there and being able to see which organizations are like actively taking a role to hear us and hear what we think was really important, and like a main reason I reached out.
Yeah, fantastic. And this is why you're here. You know, we want to make sure that you guys are heard. Our platform and our goals has always been to make sure those groups who are marginalized or underrepresented are heard. And at this point, I believe the youth voice is marginalized and unheard. And so our mission and goals are always to amplify those voices, right? And fight for those who have a voice and can't get heard the way that they need to. And so that's what we're here to do. And so how can we become involved with you in order to accomplish these goals, which was another question that was given to us, is I'm gonna say for the record that anytime Bullhorn feel like they want to contribute to We Talk Weekly by way of a column or something, it's done. You know, you're hearing that from the horse's mouth. It's done. We want to continue working with you guys, and not just because of the vote, but I believe you guys have a voice that sometimes is missed because it's not loud enough, or the perception is that it's always in conflict. right? And I believe there's another narrative there that we need to amplify and make sure that it's heard. So, we're saying for the record that you guys are more than welcome to, go back to Bullhorn and let everyone know that that the invitation is there. If y'all want a column on We Talk Weekly, we'll give it to you on our page. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. We want you to continue to be heard. We want you to continue to feel respected and have a space to vent and say what you feel like we need. Because one thing we say on We Talk Weekly is we talk and we're 100%. This is our platform. We don't have any sponsors that we're worried about. So we can say what we really mean and truly mean, right? Within reason. You got any last words?
Yeah, I wanted to know what you two want, or what do you feel Bullhorn wants the mayoral, whoever the is elected mayor, to do for youth when it comes to arts and entertainment?
I think for me, I want the next mayor to incorporate youth voices into their entire mayoral length, or the length of their mayorship, if that's a word. I think just incorporating youth voices in policies and laws, just in everyday circumstances is important for me. When the next mayor can speak to youth voices, or can add and contribute, voices to their campaign, I guess it would be really important for me.
Yeah, and I think specifically about the arts and entertainment thing, just personally at my school, I think next year a couple arts classes are being cut, and that's just an overall trend, that we're prioritizing STEM classes instead of the arts and other disciplines. So I think that just making it a focus to let students be able to express themselves, because it's a little bit easier to express yourself with the arts than chemistry. So I think giving students that platform to be able to maybe you're not even amplifying your voice within that space, but giving them the skills to be able to do that in the future is really important, because if it's not being done in school, for a lot of people, it's not being done at all. And then on that note, if it is being done out of school, investing in extracurricular activities and out of school programs for students, so that they can be involved and learn more things is really important.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
Heavy on the internships, heavy on giving resources to students to do stuff out of school to build up their resume portfolio, specifically and how that relates to the arts and other non-STEM related activities. I think that having the resources for people to do stuff instead of having it be leaps and bounds to get something to add to your that's something that's important. So focusing on that would be really good.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, we're going to focus on it. We Talk Weekly going to focus on it. So I'm going to tell you, go back to Bullhorn and come up with a proposal. We'll accept interns. We'll accept interns if that's what you feel like you need. We'll accept anything. Just send us a proposal. Let us know how we can help, and that's what we want to do for you guys. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Can you, before you go, can you explain to our viewers, especially the ones that, well, all of our viewers, I'm not going to, say by age or whatever, but your introduction guide to the 2023 mayoral primary election, how they can use that?
If you're referring to the card, is that what it is? I made that. It's basically it's kind of step by step of what you need to know about the mayoral election coming up. There's a section on what is the primaries. There's a section on the different candidates that are on the ballot and what they stand for. Basically, there's little synopsises of their main mission. There's a section on polling places, and there's a section on different Bullhorn articles that we've written, focusing on different mayoral candidates. So yeah, that's it. That's the card, and I hope that people who go on to that little like website thingy that's on our website, the Bullhorn website, their knowledge on the primaries and the mayoral election coming up, because it's really important.
I love it. How can they find that? Where do they go to actually see it? Yeah.
So if you go to the Bullhorn website, I think the website name is thebullhornnews.com. There's a kind of drop box, I think that's what it's called, that has, I think it's called the
The Bullhorn Introduction Guide to the 2023 mayoral primary elections.
Yes,
that's what it is. Yeah.
Yes, and you can see like all. It's like I try to make it as interactive as possible and like as easy as possible and accessible. Yeah, it has everything that I listed on there.
And I love it. It's really easy. It's really y'all probably can't see this, but yeah, it's real simple, real easy to get. And that's something else that we like. Easy. Make it easy. It doesn't have to be that complicated or convoluted. It doesn't have to be excessively academic.
Yes, I think that's something that was really important for me when I was making it.
Yeah.
I find that a lot of guides to voting that I've seen in the past have been very adult focused, or like that are like easy for adults to like read. So I thought that when I was making it, like making sure that like the average person could like go on it for like maybe 5 minutes and just search through everything they need to like really like have their have that knowledge in their brain quickly and accessibly and easily was really like there was a mission for me.
Yeah, fantastic. The kids are speaking out. The young people are speaking out. Listen to them. They're talking. Listen to them. Fantastic. So where can I get in contact with you guys? Anybody who's listening, they want to get in. You know, you kind of said it, but say it one more time. How can they get in contact with you? Where can they find you? How can they be active? All that good old stuff.
You can find us at the Bullhorn News. At the Bullhorn News on Instagram. Our website is bullhornnews.com or thebullhornnews.com. Are you talking about us specifically or just the Bullhorn?
No, just the Bullhorn.
Yeah, the Bullhorn, that's it.
Okay, great, fantastic. And if you want to get in contact with them, go to the Bullhorn, reach out to them, let everyone know that, these young people are here and they're talking that good talk at We Talk Weekly. And so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We Talk Weekly after the talk on WPP MLP Philadelphia 106.5 FM. We Talk Weekly's after the talk with your boy Charles Gregory and beautiful
Lauren Sizzle.
And the young people, go ahead. Say it.
I'm Rowan Arthur.
And I'm Joshua Cohen.
There you go. And they're here on We Talk Weekly. We only got like 10 minutes. Why don't y'all hang around real quick? We're going to go ahead straight into the sizzle. You ready for the sizzle?
Yeah.
There we go.
I'm not, but I am.
She's not, but yeah. So don't go. We're gonna go right into the sizzle. You already know how that goes down. Hold up. We'll be right back. Give it to me early.
All right. So make sure you guys go to We Talk Weekly on all social media and podcast platforms. If you want to support us even further, make sure you like, comment, and share. Quarterback Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles agreed to a 5-year $255 million contract extension, making him the highest paid player annually in NFL history.
Shout out to Jalen Hurts. Eagle gang.
Yes. So that's some exciting news for Philadelphians, of course. Some of the details of the deal consist of $179 million in total guarantees, including $110 million fully guaranteed at signing, in addition to 126 million, fully guaranteed by March 2024. In addition to this is the first no trade clause in Eagles history.
No trade clause, so he can't go. He's stuck.
Yes.
He's stuck. Well, we need him. Stay here. Stay here.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to imagine if what's his name? See, this is what I get for trying to talk about somebody. But with the last quarterback, I could see his face.
Carson Wentz.
Yes.
Yeah, Wentz he came. Yeah, Wentz.
Yeah. I can imagine if he had that deal, no trade clause.
Oh gosh, we would have been begging him to leave.
I know.
Oh, go, please.
Between the two, it would have been a bad marriage.
Yeah.
But the 24-year-old quarterback can earn an additional $15 million in incentives, giving him the potential to earn $274 million through 2028.
Jeez.
So this
he don't need to go nowhere else.
No, he doesn't. This also includes his. He had the $4.3 million left over from his original rookie contract. So this also includes that. So Jalen is set to receive a $23.2 million signing bonus and make $64 million through 2024.
Wow.
This is just 2024. The deal was negotiated by Jalen Hurts' agent, Nicole Lynn, who she took a shot in the dark and slid into his DMs and shot her shot to represent him. So it turned out to be a dream come true for the both of them, because they both made history, with him being the highest paid annually in the NFL history and her negotiating the largest contract ever by a female agent. So shout out to those two. Now, what do you think? Because people have been saying like, oh, he's too young. Some people are just like 24. He's 24 years old, and they're giving him all this. He's too young, and this, this, that, and the other.
No, he's talented, and he deserves it. If they're giving it to anybody else, he deserves it too. Simple as that.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I don't care how young he is. If he's an NFL, he went to the Super Bowl. Like, what else can you say?
Yeah, absolutely. Are you gonna say something?
Personally, I am not into all the sports stuff. I'm just observing it personally.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think it's some things about sports, especially like big things like with Philly, it's hard to not
know about it.
Yeah. But it's like the Philly is so, like you were saying earlier, we're just kind of like diehard Philly fans for our Philly teams. The Hulu, they added a documentary to its lineup called Freaknik: The Wildest Party Never Told. So for those of you who don't know what Freaknik is, Freaknik started back in the spring of 1983. Some people weren't even thought of at this time. But it started in the spring of 1983 as a picnic at Piedmont Park near Atlanta University Center. So it was organized by students that attended AUC who were stuck on campus during spring break. Well, what started out as a small picnic with some sandwiches and some snacks for just a small number of students, which I believe was like 60 maybe that first year, it exploded into an annual Greek picnic widely attended by thousands and thousands of people each year. It got to the point, I think one year they said it was like, 100,000 people? Yeah. Can you imagine that in Atlanta?
Wow.
Yeah. Well, after some time, Freaknik gained national attention, and then here you have the hundreds of thousands of people who traveled all over the country to be there for Freaknik. Well, the streets and expressways would literally be gridlocked, causing people to get out of their cars. And then, of course, they were all headed somewhere to party. So once they were stuck in this traffic, the party turned into a party on the expressway. People would get out of their cars and dance, walk around, interact with other people. Those who had cameras were filming certain different things. And, it turned into a good time out drinking and walking around on the expressway, the streets of Atlanta, whatever. Turned into a good time for them. So after the years, it got more and more explicit. Nudity, lewdness, traffic issues, public safety issues, the increase of funding needed to simply just police the event and for public safety. So women who were not necessarily willing to be roped and groped were attacked because they weren't willing to be wild. So it just pretty much got out of hand, and it eventually dissolved around 1999. Some professional black women who attended Freaknik in the past have filed a lawsuit and these women are composed of politicians, comprised of politicians, high-level corporate executives, a judge. They have lawyered up and filed a lawsuit against Hulu for the documentary and efforts to stop the release of the documentary. Well, these women who attended Freaknik at some point in time during its run, they believe it's unlawful to use their likeness, and they haven't signed any media releases. So they got together and they filed a lawsuit.
And they might have a point.
Yeah.
They might have a point in terms of the likeness, but my position is y'all went down there knowing exactly what was going down. Don't get scared now. Y'all, I mean, that was wild. The Freaknik was wild. I never went.
Yeah, I didn't go to that one. That's what I was going to bring up.
I stepped off. I was like, nah, I ain't going down there.
Well, we had the Greek here.
The Greek, yeah.
Yeah, so it was like we had our time. It wasn't, we didn't really need to go all the way down there for that. We had the Greek picnic.
For sure.
But like, I think I've been hearing a lot of talk about, people just saying like, same thing what you said, like, oh well, you were down there and X, Y, and Z, and then what I've been seeing a lot of too also is that some people are making these articles and videos and different things and saying like, oh, now the aunties are getting scared because what they did in the past. Like, leave them alone. That was just my thing. Like, leave them alone. Can you imagine, like, if it came out and I hate to use her name, but if Michelle Obama was down there and now you want to try to say, you want to pull up some old receipts of her out dancing or whatever. Mm-hmm. The men this isn't happening to the men. And if a man is there doing something provocative or whatever, you're not going to see. Care. Yeah, it's like he wouldn't get the same backlash as this woman would get. So leave these women alone. They are judges. They are professionals. They are politicians. Like, yeah, you had your time when you did something that you weren't supposed to do. Would you want that to be brought up and your grandchildren are on Hulu and they're looking at something you did? But that's it.
That's it? No, I thought you had another story.
Yeah, I did want to talk about it was just
real quick, they deserve to be acknowledged, man.
Yeah, I usually do a celebrity sizzle award of the week because as I was saying that a lot of times we always highlight the negative that celebrities do, but there is positive that some of them are doing. That's right. So I just wanted to highlight Tracy and Sherry, I think it's CFX or Cifix, something like that. But they are a married entrepreneurial couple and they're from New Jersey. They acquired Booker's Restaurant and Bar here in West Philadelphia for a cool $3.3 million.
That's right. Yeah, I had to acknowledge them because it was necessary to acknowledge them.
Yeah. So they want to, I guess, The bar first opened in 2017, and it was originally owned by Saba Tedla.
Said Booker's, right?
Yeah. No, Booker's Restaurant.
Booker's Restaurant. No
Yeah.
doubt. Okay,
Yeah.
no doubt. Okay.
So they acquired it through their Fax Entertainment Group LLC company, and what they wanted to basically preserve the the restaurant and why it was built, but it pays tribute to Booker Wright, who was a legendary African American waiter back in the 1960s in Mississippi. She worked at a whites only restaurant, and while she was also running her own restaurant that catered to black customers. So that's why the name Booker's Restaurant was created. And they had gotten they got a small U.S. Small Business Administration loan to help them purchase this. So they're wanting to do some awesome things with the restaurant here in West Philadelphia, that's located down there by near 50th and Baltimore Avenue.
You gonna put the story up? Can you put the story up so they can see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We talk weekly after the talk on WPPM-LP Philadelphia, 106.5 FM. We talk weekly after the talk with your boy Charles Gregory and the beautiful
Lauren Sizzle.
and our guest host for this evening.
Rowan.
No doubt. And yeah, so that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. Next week, we got more content. We're going to continue to amplify the voices. We Talk Weekly is always here for the people. That's who we for. Nobody else. We don't care about nobody else. We only care about the people. Yes, you dig it? The people, right? And so we'll be here in another time. Holla at your boy early. Peace.
Peace.